the movie Sinners allows us to kind of really engage with this question of how we engage with art. I think that's a far more interesting question than to just, should we watch it? Yes or no. First, let's get into this piece. Sinners has a lot of things in it. Coitus, there's a lot of knocking of the boots, not a lot, but there's knocking of the boots. There's there's swearing, there's violence, there's references to the occult, there's references to ancient African religious practices and different things like that, right? Not necessarily making a dissension, but identifying each individual one. That being said, it's also a magnificent work of art. It was beautiful. We didn't know there was going to be all of that stuff in there. We watched it like maybe the second day it came out, because Ryan Coogler's the new Spike Lee. I have a deep appreciation for how intentional, how thoughtful he is. And this movie's no different. Everything you could think about it engages with what it means to be Black in really, really rich and nuanced ways. About the Black experience as it pertains to capitalism, as it pertains to religion, as it pertains to the whitewashing of Christianity, as it pertains to literally like it's like a white church. Anyways, the whitewashing of Christianity, the ways that impacts the culture. It talks a lot about what it means, the cross-sectionality of what it means to be Black, what it means to allow other minorities in, what it means to deal with generational trauma and the ways that those things present themselves. Really, really nuanced, dope conversations to be had about what this movie, and about the ways that it intentionally creates dialogue about what it means to be Black, what it means to be a part of the culture, what it means to for the passing of the torch from one generation to the other, and the ways that we leave, and the things that we take away from a lot of dope ideas, which is kind of my problem with it as a Christian, because it's a lot of dope ideas and a lot of nuances until it gets to Christianity, right? There is such research and such history and such nuance done with this, but as soon as it gets to Christianity, it relies on the same tropes that the lazy historians do, or the lazy researchers do, the lazy movies do. It's the same trope. Like every facet of Black culture, we want to identify and talk about it, but we will only talk about Christianity in the context of its whitewashing of our culture, whitewashing of the past religions for those who do those, or this whitewashing of our history. And we will only look at it from that perspective, as if there's not a rich history of Black intellectual, Christian Black intellectuals, as if there's not a rich history of the church being the thought center of it, whether it's for economic empowerment or whatever. All of these things, like as if the only history of Christianity started with Constantine, right? And then fast forward, 1,200 years later, transatlantic slave trade, and that's the totality of Christianity. Has the religion been bastardized? Absolutely, in a lot of ways. Has the religion been used as a ways of creating race, of perpetuating racist ideologies and evil? Absolutely. But that is not like somebody taking my product, taking my thing, bastardizing and making it something else and using it for other purposes does not change the point of what the thing was created for. Christianity, Christianity in its essence went went and broke down cultural, gender barriers, economic barriers, all these things. Christianity in its true form was a form of I would even say protest against the dominant culture of its day, especially at its founding in the Roman government. Right? Christianity cut through all those lines in a time where though that thing wasn't real. Jesus is very intentional about the people that he goes about pursuing and talking to, and the ways that he engages with them, the ways that he engages with Mary, all the Marys actually cuts through these gender barriers, the ways that he talks to the way that the Christians talk to the Ethiopians, the ways that they deal with folks with African ancestry, the way that it deals between these lines of religion. Christianity, in its essence, flew against the face of a lot of those norms. Now, the faith makes no apologies about its desire to change us from our sinful desires at its core, and how our primary identity becomes that we are creations of the living God, redeemed for his pleasure and to his glory. That it makes no excuses about that, nor do I seek to. However, I would like to see Christian identity portrayed in these cinematic spaces in a way that is more respectful to those of us who are Christians unapologetically, but also have a deep appreciation of how these ancient religions were a unifying factor in freedom causes all throughout the world. Right? So we're not gonna eschew that. We're not gonna bypass that. We have a strong appreciation of all the different facets of our culture, as do other types of Christians do as well. But it's almost as if the only way that a Christian will be portrayed in a movie is through this very lazy historical perspective that will almost send a message that the only way to follow this religion is that you have to become kind of a mindless robot that does not have an appreciation for identity and what that means, and the ways that differs between the believer. There is unity of the faith. There is us as Christians, but there is the God who very intentionally created us with the melanin in our skin. There is the God that intentionally created our hair to kink and to curl the ways that it does. There is a God who could intentionally created us with the curves or with the whatever the things are that the Lord created us. He did that intentionally. And those of us who believe in the Christian faith believe that we are all images of the living God, the Imago Dei, the image of God. As when you look at each of us, regardless of color or creed, you are looking at a piece of what a piece of the divine, a piece of God. God in his creation created us to look like him. And so my skin is not a mistake. The faith is very clear about that, right? The men who bastardized my faith did so by omitting parts of it from those who did not know, so that they can coerce the faith for their own evil means. That's what they did. They didn't preach Christianity in its fullness because it would not have been to their benefit to do so. So, with all due respect, definitely very much love and respect. And I wouldn't make this video if I did not have a deep respect for Ryan Coogler and his thoughtfulness and his intentionality. But as a black, I would say, someone who aspires to be an intellectual within the space, one who appreciates art, one who loves the skin that he's in, one who loves being black, loves having a black family, loves his black wife, loves black. Not to say I don't love everybody else. I love everybody, but I love being me. I love my skin. I love my dark skin, right? Christianity doesn't tell me to do anything otherwise, right? So, because I respect Ryan Coogler and his research and his historical interpretations, because I would love to engage in this conversation about all the points that this movie brings about, I would also love to be represented in the right way, right? This country, I'll leave in saying this. This country is very intentional about the representation about everybody, right? We're so big on representation, right? All shades, all genders, all sexual preferences, right? Cool, y'all want to do that, right? Whether, like, the Bible's very clear about that. I'm very clear about that. I'm not shaking on that, right? But if y'all so big on interpretations, then why is it that you're so comfortable with these lazy interpretations about what it means to be a Christian, right? We look back at movies where it's like, you know, the stereotypical black person, or I think the guy who plays Miguel, or one of the guys, he's the bald guy from Training Day, right? And somebody pulled up his IMDb, and I don't know if it's real or not, but it was hilarious to see. But he essentially played the same character with the same name in like 12 straight movies, right? These kind of stereotypical depictions about what it means to be Mexican, and what it means to be Hispanic, what it means to be Latino. We look back at these like guys, you know, these I ain't jiving you, you know, like all these different interpretations about what it means to be black within the space. We look at it and we laugh now, but we would never go back and do that. But we got no problem with these very like two-dimensional characters that are either judgmental, right? Either they're judgmental or they're just lost in the sauce and just whitewash and have no, understanding of history, like no real interactions with the culture. Like, what we doing, man? Like, come on, cut that out. Let's just come on, cut that out. I know plenty of brothers and sisters in the faith that wrestle with what it means to be holy, that wrestle what it means to be righteous, but also are deeply black, we're influenced by, you know, whatever, our deep appreciation of our ancestry. We don't worship our ancestry, but we appreciate it, right? We love our ancestors, but we don't worship them. There's only one God that is worthy of worship. There is only one true God, and his name is Jesus. Either way, anyways, much respect, much love. It's Luke. And stop painting a negative picture of us. Come on.